and I am here to talk about my new musical, The Golden Cage, and the fundraising that we're doing, and how you can donate and get really cool perks. And I'm going to show you some of those perks. But in case you don't know, The Golden Cage is my new musical about how we can get trapped in our minds, especially when we're trying to get safe or stay safe, and how the one thing that can free us is human trust, human connection. So the musical is about a hybrid, half bird, half human creature, and this melodramatic diva. So those are the two characters, and it's about this magical golden cage that is irresistible from the outside and inescapable from the inside. And if it sounds like a fairy tale, it is a fairy tale. It's a modern fairy tale, and it's about isolation, and it's about ambition and how we can get stuck in these things. So the musical played live in New York City in last year, and then we spent a year creating a film of that live Off-Broadway production. The film just came out. It's on the Streaming Musicals Network, and secretly you can still view it on YouTube. And it's had over, we're getting close to actually 10,000 views, which is really exciting. And we're right now trying to raise the final $35,000 to pay for the post-production costs. So I put all that information into the posts that go along with this. I'm broadcasting this on as many channels as I possibly can. And I would also like to hear from you. First of all, I'm still trying to figure out this platform and how it works. Every time I go back and look at the videos, they look fuzzy to me. So I'm just curious if they actually look fuzzy to you and what the sound sounds like. I also want to play you this little video that I made, and I've never played a video on this as well. And the other cool thing about this particular platform is that I can chat, meaning, well, not every one of the platforms can we chat together, but in some of them. Now, I know that some of you have seen this musical. If you haven't, there's still a chance to see it because it's still on YouTube. We were going to shut it down, but then we just started getting all these views, and we were like, well, wait a minute, no, we're going to leave it up there because that was really exciting. And what we're doing next is that now it's a film, but it is also for theater. So I'll tell you a little bit more about that either later on in this or in the next live. But one of the questions that people are always asking me, in fact, yesterday, I was at my neighborhood. Wait a minute. I want to make sure. I hope that you're hearing me. I hope it sounds good. Whatever. If not, you'll let me know. It's completely bizarre, actually, to sit here and know that I'm either talking to a lot of people or I'm talking to nobody. But I'm talking to you. So I was at my neighborhood potluck yesterday, and one of my neighbors who knows that I play the harp and tell stories with music, she'd gone to see the show, and she was like, well, I was expecting to see you up there in the musical. And I'm like, no, this is a musical that I created for other people to perform. So why did I do that? Like, why would somebody who's known for playing the harp create music for other people to perform? And actually, now that I'm saying that aloud, well, why would I? Well, because first and foremost, I'm a storyteller. I tell stories with music. I don't care if it's me who's telling the stories or if it's someone else who's telling my stories. Because when I hear other people do it, the story opens up for me in a new way. And it has been amazing to tell this story, which is really about my own fragmentation. It's about, and I think many of you can relate to this, that there's two parts of me. I mean, do you feel like there's two parts of you? A part that's like scared and a part that's like free, but secretly scared? There's always been two parts of me. There's been a part that was always creating these stories with music for other people, writing them down, making plays, hoping that other people would perform them, producing them, doing workshops with them, all of this stuff in a sort of almost secret way. And then this other me that's like out there being this wild, crazy harpist. And that is like the two characters in this show. I think that we all have some place where we feel completely free in some ways. For some people, it's cooking. For some people, it's running. For some people, it's singing. And for me, if you look at this now, look, this harp is like wings. This has been my freedom. With this harp, I have been that one character, Boris, who you'll see in a second. And then there's this other side of me that only the people who know me the closest have known, which is this person who's been trying to tell this one story all my life. All my life, I have been wanting to tell this story. Why? I didn't know why for a long time, but now that I've told it, and I'm going to show you just a little bit of it in a second, I'm realizing that this has been the story that I've been living and figuring out as I live. The story of, is my life about freedom or is my life about security? And the way that I figure that out is to actually create two characters, one that is in a cage, like, here I am in my golden cage, growing thin, growing pale. There you are on the outside looking in. Here I am in my suit of mail, so secure and so pure. There you are on the outside looking in. There on the outside where you stand, all that glitters in your hand. So for me to understand something as a storyteller, I have to tell the story. And as a musical storyteller, as someone who tells stories with music, in order to understand something that I'm experiencing in my own life, I have to tell the story and I have to tell the music. So that's one of the characters. And the other character who's on the outside is singing, here I am at your palace gate in a state of despair. There you are on the inside looking out. What a fate, what a tragedy, how ungodly, unfair, how I'd give my life to be there on the inside looking out. There on the inside where I'd stand, all that glitters in my hand. This is what I've experienced of life. Maybe you too. That there's an inside and there's an outside. I can be inside stuck. I can be outside longing to belong. And that's how these two characters are in the golden cage. One stuck on the inside of this cage, which is nothing. The cage is nothing that you can see. And the other is locked on the outside, longing to be in. So these themes, just starting with this one idea, there are so many different themes. I'll try to bring those out as I share over the next few days. And I'm sure probably over the next few years, because this is a story that now everybody can see. You can see it on YouTube. You can see it at streaming musicals. And the next step of this is that people can produce it as a play, because it's a movie, but it's also started as a play. And in some ways, this is kind of a secret, but in some ways, this video, this film that we just made, is like a glorified demo. And when I say glorified, I mean really glorified. It's so beautiful. And what's so amazing about that is that in creating this this demo that I could show to theater and opera companies so they could see what this is that they could perform, we ended up making this really, really beautiful film that anyone can see. So anyway, let me just show you a little video, because I want to see how this also works, and let me know if you can see this. So here we go. Since I was 19, I would stay up late at night questioning, do I want a life based on security or on freedom? And that question became two characters, one inside of a cage and the other outside of it. But I couldn't figure out how to connect them until now. Can imagine that you can truly fly. So if this looks like a fairy tale, it is. It actually was described recently as Wizard of Oz meets Waiting for Godot. So Wizard of Oz, this whimsical, fairy tale story, Waiting for Godot, because it's got all these sort of philosophical layers to it. And one of the things that was really important to me in creating it was to create something that could be watched by multi-generational audiences. And why is that? Because these are questions, everything that's in this show, the whole story of this. I talk to my therapist about this every week. I'm saying, oh, I'm Althea now at this point of the show, and I'm a Boris now at this point of the show, because I never had a way to talk about it. So you know how people can say, oh, that's like the red star, the ruby slippers in the Wizard of Oz, that thing. Oh, that's the ruby slippers. It gives a vocabulary to talk about things I could never talk about, like what it's like when you know what to do, you want to do it, and you can't. Somebody's there telling you exactly what to do. You know it, you want it, you've been waiting for it, you're doing it, you get to the last moment, and you cannot do that thing. That's the trumpet moment in the Golden Cage. Then there's that moment when you've just done something in a moment of glory and suddenly realize, oh my God, what did I just do? I just set stuff in motion that is going to turn into something horrible. That's the push moment. There's the moment when you see that, everything kind of your life in front of you, and you surrender to it. And that's the moment of transformation. Some of us never get there, but some of us do. There are moments when, if we knew that that's what was happening, if we knew that the racing of the ground towards us and the moment of surrender would be the moment of transformation, that's the moment of Althea falling off the cliff. The moment when we've been waiting and waiting and waiting for something in our lives, and then it comes, and we act like jerks. And maybe this doesn't happen to you, but it does to me. It's happened to me. I know that it's happened to other people. Like Althea in the beginning of the show, she's just like, today, every day, just the same, every line, every book, every stage of my life has the same look. Of course, the Althea in this musical is much more, not quite as disgusting as that, but she tries. It's just like, I can't stand it when the mornings are as empty as the days, and the blah, blah, blah. I mean, she's such a grump. And she's like, I can't wait for something to happen. I mean, like, I used to dream. At least I think I used to dream I dreamt I was in flight. I used to dream. I dreamt of soaring on a starlit night. Now I only dream. I dream of dreaming again and again and again and again and again, again and again. So she so longs for something to happen, and then suddenly something happens. She hears this noise outside, but instead of being like, oh yay, something's happening, she just becomes like, I'm gonna do battle with this. And when she finally sees that thing, she is just like completely obnoxious. How many times have we done that? Maybe you haven't. We are longing for human connection, and then we just like, it comes and we don't know how to handle it. And so anyway, to be able to have a way to point to that, and as not just as a grown up, I mean, like, I need to point to that. I need to be able to see, hey, I'm doing that. But also as kids talking to grown-ups, I had no idea how to talk about this as a child, talk about ambition and fears of loneliness and fears of getting stuck and actually getting stuck. I mean, experiences I had, I can remember back to being like 11 and, trying to finish something for school and just like, I can't do this. I just can't do this. And like, sitting on my project accidentally. And all this stuff is in the show, not as specifics, but as an allegory, as a metaphor. And it's not that I'm like, oh, I'm going to put in my 11, I was 11 years old and I did this and I put it in the play. No, it starts off with that question. When you start with a fundamental question, like, is my life about freedom or security? And then you start playing that and seeing what happens with it. And you're telling a fairy tale. You start to tell the story of your own life. And what I discovered is that I was telling the story it's the story of my fragmentation. That moment when I was like, hey, I really want security, but I also want freedom. And there was a fragmentation that happened in my life. And through all these years and developing the show and having my own life and, literally flying around the room. That would be exciting. Fly around the room. No, fly around the world with this instrument. I have actually gotten to experience these two characters, and you get to experience them in the show. So what I want to tell you about also, and it took me, how long did it take me to get here to tell this? Anyway, I want to tell you about some of the perks, and I made a picture of one. And I can also answer any questions about anything. I'm here talking about this musical that I love, that I've created, and that's out there in the world, and that's getting all these YouTube hits, and that I'm raising money to finish. But there's so much in there. Like, how did I finish it? I mean, it was years of getting stuck and getting unstuck, having people come and help me in different ways. And that's also what I teach. So this has been an amazing experience to actually realize, to get to experience myself, the same kind of like, am I ever going to get this done? Is this ever going to happen? Am I ever going to be able to get this out into the world? And then the people in Hip Harp Academy and also in my Harness Your Muse program, I get to pass that on. I get to pass on not only the film with your help. There have been so many people who've helped to do that. I get to pass on the film. I get to pass on the show that other people can perform at any theater company, any opera company, any two people regardless of age, race, gender, body type. Any two great performers can perform this show. And that was really important to me, to create something that all the people who don't fit the roles that are out there, that there's this powerful story to share. And it's so much fun to perform. So there's the film that anyone can watch. There's the play that anyone can perform. And then there's that I get to share what it's like to create something like this. You know, and one of the perks that I really love, I'm not going to talk about, well, I'm just going to pull it up because I can. One of the perks is, wait, is this it? Is it? And okay, and I specifically made it for harpists, but anybody can take this. It's an inspiration breakthrough workshop. It is one of the gifts that you could get when you donate to the Golden Cage. So there's all these different gifts that you can get. Like you can get the Adventure Club kit, which is the film. You get the film, you get the soundtrack album, you get the you actually get to see the script in the Adventure Club kit. In the Cage Unlocker, you get to, oh wait, this is my favorite picture of the Cage Unlocker. In the Cage Unlocker, you get the Golden Cage Journal, which is this really, really, really cool thing. It's a cool perk. In fact, I think I'm going to do a whole live session on this journal, because what I wanted to do was to go into the characters and what they've gone through, and then pull out journaling prompts, because so many people tell me, how do I get this off? Okay. Hello. So many people talk about how the themes in the show are powerful for them, and they are for me too. But just letting those themes kind of go past is one thing. Bringing them out, looking at them, there's 12 different journal prompts, and looking at each one of them lets us look at the elements that these characters are dealing with. Like they're dealing with isolation. They're dealing with generational stories that are, these generational stories aren't forcing them to do anything, but they're really definitely at play in what these characters are doing. There's guilt, and there's looking at that guilt. And then there's also one of the most powerful elements in the story, which is trust. There's a moment in the middle of the show. I think I'm going to do a whole session just on that, because it's so powerful. What did I just say? I'm going to do a session on the journal, and I'm going to do a session on trust, because that has been such a powerful revelation about what happens in the show. Anyway, okay, so there's that. I wanted to show you all of them because I just got them up here, but now I need my glasses because I can't see them. Okay, yeah, you can get the live soundtrack recording. That's a cool perk. You can sit in the producer's chair, where you get like everything that you would need in order to produce this, except for the license to produce, but everything, including this amazing set of audio that lets you literally like learn all the parts and sing along with it. So that's cool. What do you mean it's cool? It's like great. I had so much fun putting together these perks in a way to let people into this show. So that's what I wanted to show you. I can't even remember what I came here to exactly tell you today, except that I just want to connect about this. And I want to talk about, what these perks are. In fact, I think I'll just come on and talk about each one of them. I think that would be fun. And I am more comfortable, like, I guess a lot of people would be like, why don't you just make a video and put it out there? But I feel freer when I am talking to you, when I know that you are there and I know I'm talking to you. If I was just trying to make a straight video, I would not be able to do that. All right, so let me just see. Okay, right, so I think I've told you everything that I need to tell you. Fundraising is ending soon, so please do. There's something really cool you can do. I'm going to pull up a QR code. You can just you can just put your phone on this QR code and that will take you directly to the fundraising. I think that's what that does. Indeed, it does. All right. Ooh, I'm just going to check here because someone has put in, oh, no, someone just put in a chat. It was actually me. It always fakes me out when that happens. Also, the ice cream truck just came. You probably heard that the ice cream, I don't know if you guys can hear that the ice cream truck just came outside my house. So I am going to end this live stream and I'm going to come back because I want to tell you more about this. And you know what? I also want to just get comfortable talking to you. So as I say in Hip Hop Academy, until we meet again, go forth and harp on the good things in life. Like finally being able to express something that you've always wanted to express, which is what I'm able to do in this show, and actually being able to share that.